wanna know how to warm up before your workout? In this video, I'm not gonna only show you how to warm up before your workout, but what to do during your workout when you change exercises as well. For example, when you go from chest to back, if you do an upper body split, or if you do a full body split that I'm doing, how to go from chest to back to legs, or if you are doing a typical split like push day, how to go from chest to triceps or shoulders, or even how to go from one exercise of chest to another exercise of chest. You are gonna learn everything in this video because I'm gonna take you through a full body workout and I'm gonna be explaining you how I warm up before everything I do. First things first, if you are very cold, you should do any kind of movement so that you can get your blood flowing and get warmer. In my country, most of the times it's warm, so I don't do it actually. I'm not gonna lie to you, but if in your country is cold or at your place, just go and do 5 or 10 minutes of cardio, or you can do some jumps like that, or with your jump rope. Just don't overdo it, get warm, 5-10 minutes, pretty easy, and then we can move on to our next warm-up exercise. In today's workout, as it is a full body split, I start with some calisthenic skills, planche, and then I move on to pull-ups, bench press, and squats, as well as some other exercises for triceps, biceps, and so on. So you're gonna see me go through everything. I firstly like to start with some twists on my wrist, because especially the calisthenics things are very hard on your wrist and your shoulders. What you need to know is to always do dynamic movements. Don't go and do some static movements. I see a lot of people go and hold their arms like that for 30 seconds or their shoulders like that. Before working out, it's better for you to do dynamic movements. For example, if you want more range of motion, you can do it something like that. Keep on moving, because if you do static, then it kind of calms down your muscles. What you want to do is keep your muscles moving and involved so that they are prepared for their exercise. So after I do some rotations, I usually grab the band, or I may start with some very light dumbbells, and I just continue doing movements for my wrist. I might do something like that. It's not like I have something very prepared. It's most of the times how I feel. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not gonna do some weird things just to get views. I'm gonna do exactly what I do when I train, so that if you like it, you can do it as well. So I do some things like that. You can do it like that, warm up your wrists, just a few reps. I don't do 50 reps, neither 2 or 3, just keeping things very simple. Now that I warmed up my wrist, I'm gonna do some rotations for my shoulders, so that my shoulders warm up pretty good. I don't have a lot of space in here, but anyway, if you don't want to use bands, you can take the dumbbells and do the same movements for your wrist, like that, and then for your shoulders, some rotations, so that you can feel warmed up. If you want, you can skip this step and go to the next step without doing these rotations and everything, but because calisthenics is a bit harsh on my wrist and shoulders, I prefer doing them. Now, after I warmed up my wrists and my shoulders, I do just some extremely basic warm-up exercises for my neck, just a few rotations, because if I want to be clear with you, last week I forgot to do them, and then I went to do some heavy tricep exercises and I heard a crack, and still my neck is very stiff. I couldn't move for 2 or 3 days. I was like, oh, hey dude, are you okay right there? So don't neglect that. I actually don't count how many I do. I just do them until I feel very warmed up. Just don't overdo it and kill yourself and get tired out of warm-up. Keep it pretty chill so that you are ready for your exercises. Now that I finished with all the boring stuff, which you can skip them if you are not doing anything extreme or if you are not feeling like you need them, I move to my main movement. My first movement for today is some calisthenics skills. It's called plunge. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 2 to 3 sets with a lighter progression, or if you are doing bench press or any exercise in the gym, you can do that exercise with lighter weight for your first sets. And I'm gonna do bench press later, so you're gonna see how I warm up with bench press as well. Now for the plunge, I'm gonna choose an easier progression, which is tag plunge or something like that. And I'm gonna do just a few reps to remember the movement and keep the blood flow going. Your warm-ups should not be very hard. You should not feel extremely tired after them, but not completely easy. Just challenge yourself just a bit. There are not exact rules to follow. Just go with the flow. Now that I did my first set with the lighter weights, which in calisthenics is with an easier progression, I'm gonna rest a few seconds, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, something like that, and then go and do a heavier set, harder progression. I already started to get warm and sweaty, so I'm gonna open the AC so that I'm not tired out of sweat. Now that I feel pretty warmed, I'm gonna do my first working set. Sometimes I need 1 or 2 more sets to feel ready, but today I'm feeling pretty okay, so I'm gonna do my first working set. The exercises I'm doing for calisthenics are the only exercises I'm not training close to failure, because I want to put more work in and learn the movements. But as you are gonna see later in the video, in my actual sets that I'm doing to grow, they are pretty close to failure. By the way, if you like doing hybrid training like I do, I combine calisthenic skills, street lifting, and heavy training with bench press and exercises to grow as well. Tell me down in the description, and if you have any questions on how I do them and everything, feel free to ask. Now that I finished with calisthenic skills, I'm moving to pull-ups. And you're gonna ask me, okay, now how do you warm up for pull-ups? First of all, pull-ups, it hits a different muscle. This exercise, it's a push movement, but pull-ups, it's a pull movement. So what I do, I don't do all the things I was doing before for the neck, wrist and shoulders, because they are already pretty warm. But what I do is I start with the exercise I want to do, which is pull-ups in my example, and do again 2 to 3 warm-up sets before the actual heavy set. I usually in my training target 4 to 8 reps. So in my first warm-up set, I'm gonna do an easy weight for me, which I think I'm gonna do, for example, 5 to 10 reps pretty easy. So I'm starting with a 20 kilo. My first reps are always pretty slow and steady. Feel the movement, feel your muscles as well. Try to remember the movement, how it should go, and warm up your muscles. This was my first warm-up set. I'm gonna do another one with about 40 kilos, and then I'm gonna do my first set for back. I've rested for about no time. I just went, picked up the new weights. I don't usually rest between my warm-up sets because it takes some time to load the weights if I'm doing bench press or pull-ups or dips. So It will usually take me around 30 seconds, and that's enough for a warm-up set. If you are choosing machines, then you can warm up a few seconds before your next warm-up, but don't overdo it. There's no need for that because it's a warm-up set, it's not that hard. Warm-up set number 2. Just 2-3 reps, I didn't even count them. On my first warm-up I do more reps, and on the second one I do just a few to feel the weights. And if I feel ready, just like now, I'm gonna get to my first hard working set. The split that I'm doing today, it's obviously a full body training split, and I have focused on my back. Actually, it's kind of focused on pull-ups and the planche that I did on the start. I have 3 full body workouts and I just rotate them around. One, it's more focused on back, the other one on chest, and the third one is focused on legs. I just loaded 62.5 kilos and let's see how it goes. I just finished with my pull-ups and now I'm moving to bench press. Bench press again targets different muscle than pull-ups and it's pretty heavy. So I'm gonna do 2 to 3 warm-up sets again. And if you're wondering that the planche that I was doing before, it's the same muscle, it's kind of weird because planche needs a lot of balance, a lot of shoulders, a lot of core. So for the bench press that targets a lot of pecs and it's pretty hard, I'm gonna do again 2 to 3 warm-up sets, but on the next exercises I'm not gonna do the same, so I'm gonna tell you while I go. This is my first warm-up set. It's 2 20-kilo plates and 10 the bar. It's not Olympic bar, so it's 50 kilos. I usually do 100 or a bit more on my working sets, so I think it's a pretty good way to warm up. My form is not the best at bench press, so I try to go slow and steady on the first reps so that I can be more focused on the form. I actually feel pretty warm, so I'm gonna go quickly add a few more plates and do another warm-up set so that I can get to my working set. Just loaded 90 kilos on the bar. I think it's gonna be the second and the last warm-up set. I feel pretty okay today, so let's go. By the way, if you don't feel ready in 2-3 warm-up sets, feel free to do more. No problem with that. Better be safe than sorry. I just feel pretty warmed up and pretty okay today, so I'm gonna go with 2 warm-up sets. That felt good. 2-3 reps are enough because on my working set I'm gonna do around 5 reps. So let's load the bar. Loaded on the bar 110 kilos, and this is our first working set. That was hard. I'm also ill today, so I'm having a difficult time training hard. Now that I finished with the bench, The next exercise I have is any kind of row. Usually if I'm in the gym, I do any kind of row in the machine, just like that. But today I'm training in my bedroom, so I'm gonna do some over rows, basic calisthenics things. Just proves that you can train anywhere if you train hard enough. If you are wondering about the warm-up, because that's the purpose of the video, because I'm already pretty warmed up from the pull-ups I did, I'm not gonna do any warm-up on this exercise. Sometimes if I'm gonna do extremely heavy on the gym or something, I might do one warm-up set, pretty quick, 2-3 reps, but usually I don't do warm-up for this exercise because I'm already warmed up from the previous exercise, which was pull-ups. Now I have to do one set of chest, and my chest is already warmed up, but because I'm gonna do a pretty heavy exercise, I'm gonna do loaded push-ups with 80-90 kilos. I'm gonna do one warm-up set. I usually don't do warm-ups when I'm doing other simpler exercises, for example like chest flies, or if I'm using a machine for chest. I just loaded 60 kilos for weighted push-ups. It's gonna be my first and only warm-up set, as I just finished from a heavy bench press, which is a pretty similar exercise. So as you can see, when I'm doing the same muscles and it's pretty similar exercise, I do no warm-ups, or if it's a pretty heavy exercise like this one right here, which is pretty heavy, I'm gonna go maybe up to 80-90 kilos push-up. I'm gonna do one warm-up set at around half of the weight I'm gonna go on the last set, or 20 kilos less, something like that. I don't have a specific rule that I always follow. As you're going to realize until the end of the video, I'm following kind of a pattern, but it's not very strict or something like that. It's pretty fluent, pretty chill, just feeling good, making sure I'm feeling okay before I go and do my hard working set. And when I do my bag of sets, I don't do warm up. Obviously, when you do one set of pull-ups, then on your second set of pull-ups, you are not gonna warm up, obviously. So let's go 60 kilos. By the way, this workout usually takes around 1 hour if you don't do the calisthenics skills. For me personally, because when I'm training, I like to rest longer, chat with the other people in the gym, have a chill, fun time. It usually takes me around 1 hour and a half to do the calisthenics and all the full body training. 90 kilos are loaded. Let's do our one and only hard working set on push-ups, and then we're gonna move to squats. Now I finished with all the upper body main movements. I'm gonna do also later in the video some tricep, bicep and shoulder exercises, but now I'm gonna move to legs. I know you're gonna be wondering, what? Why are you doing legs that late in your training? To be honest with you, I can agree, but as I told you before, I have 3 full body days that I do one after another. So today is focused on back, and the second focus is chest. The last focused body part that I have today is legs. That's why I'm gonna do only 2 sets of squats. For example, in 2 days from now, I'm gonna do focused on legs. So I'm gonna do more exercises on legs, and I'm gonna start my workout with legs. And the next workout I'm gonna start with chest because it's focused on chest. It's how you like programming your workouts, and that's the thing with full body training. You usually have different days, 3 or 4 different full body training splits, and you just rotate them around. Each day has different order of exercises so that you can target all the exercises that you want, and it's of course based on your goals and based on everything you want to target at that specific time and what you like. Even though this is one of our last exercises, I'm gonna do 2 working sets or maybe 3 because I haven't trained legs today. This is my first exercise for legs, so I will need a good warm-up for my legs. Of course, I'm not doing any jogging or walking because I'm already warmed up. Maybe my neck, I'm gonna do later just a few rotates to make sure that my neck is pretty warmed up, because on squats it hits hard on your neck. Now let's go at warm-up set number 2. I've loaded 90 kilos on the bar. It's been a long time since I last did free weight squats because I go at my university's gym and there's a Smith machine there. So I'm gonna see how it feels. I'm not sure. Before doing my working set, I'm gonna do a few neck rotates because my neck feels pretty stiff, especially after the injury I had last week. So I'm gonna do a few more rotates. You can even take the band and do it from all the sides, just add a bit of pressure or weight. You can use your hands if you want, just add some resistance and move your head. Do it on all the directions. Now I'm pretty warmed. I'm gonna do my second warm-up set and see how it goes. Feel free to make fun of my ugly face when I'm struggling. That actually felt good, so I'm gonna load more weight and do my working set. Let's go. I know you're gonna tell me weak, but actually I'm gonna do most probably as much weight as I did on bench press, on squats. I know legs are not my strongest point. I have to be honest, for a long time I was focusing only on my upper body, which was a mistake I talked about before. I just added 120 kilos. You cannot make fun of me now because I'm actually doing more than I did on bench press. So I think I'm guilty free, or no. I don't know, it's on you. Easy. Now you understand why I used to skip legs. I just like training hard, and when I'm training hard on legs, I feel dizzy. For the last exercises, which are the biceps, triceps and side delts, I like doing supersets. I basically start with biceps, move to triceps, and then move to side delts. I do only a few seconds rest in between so I can feel pretty good, and then I repeat it one more time. I do 2 sets. For the warm-up, I don't actually do warm-up for this one because I feel pretty warmed up as I was doing all the other exercises that were targeting these muscles as well. For example, the push-ups were targeting the triceps, the pull-ups, the biceps, and so on. So these muscles feel pretty warmed up. There are some circumstances where I feel that they are not warmed up, but most of the times, because I'm doing compound movements, they are pretty warmed, so I don't do warm-up sets on these exercises. The only times I do warm-ups is especially if they are first in my workout program, which in this case right now, they are the last one and I'm ready to go. I'm gonna start with biceps and move on to shoulders and triceps. Just finished with biceps. I'm gonna rest 10-15 seconds and move to triceps and side laterals, and then repeat this circle one more time. So this is how I warm up and how I train. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Ciao.